Introducing my next artist now. I have Duncan Moss taking time out to speak to me today for an interview, and he's all the way from central London today. Hello, Duncan. How are we doing?
Hi, Dan. Yeah, I'm really good, thanks.
Great to hear
Very
it.
well.
Nice to hear it. And I understand you're a musician. And what's your forte? What is your kind of most specific type of genre you excel in?
Right. Good question. I'm a composer first and foremost, but I'm a pianist as well. So I tend to either write for piano or orchestral arrangements around the piano. But I also like what I call genre bending. So I've got some kind of rock albums coming up, but they're with an orchestra and they're with a 14-piece band.
Brilliant. So you do a bit of everything.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah. Master of none.
Yeah, lovely. I've just listened to your new track as well. It's an instrumental, and it's a very nice track. Can you just tell my listeners a little bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. When We Were Children is a track off the Mnemonics Part 2 album, and it was originally the first album. Mnemonics Part 1 was a piano pieces, piano songs, and they're all written in a song format. So we then decided to arrange it and record it live with a full orchestra. So it's orchestral and piano, and the track in question, When We Were Children, was inspired after the birth of my first grandson. And it was a kind of moment of reflection because it was, as I say, first grandchild. And it brought back all those wonderful memories of my own three children growing up, and just the pure innocence of joy of being a child. And I tried to encapsulate that in the music.
So when you listen to it back in your living room, just sit back and feel the music, and it kind of can bring back like the childhood. Is that the story it's trying to paint?
Yeah, that's.
Mm,
I think that's exactly it. And we did. I've got a great filmmaker called Dean Sherwood, who's absolutely superb in, if you like, visually representing what I'm trying to
mm,
represent musically. And we've done some visualizers for it. So the two things together, it conjures up all those lovely, warm, cuddly feelings
mm,
of being a child, as I say, and the freedom of being a child as you grow up and
mm,
exploring and just discovering about life
mm,
as that turns you obviously later on into an adult. So
mm.
it's the joy in the innocence is really what it's all about.
So when looking back at your old family album as well, maybe listen to this track as well, and flick back to your old photo albums, kind of roll back the years.
Yeah,
Mm,
sure,
mm.
absolutely.
Nice,
Yeah, I think
nice.
that's true.
And also, do you do like film soundtracks? Is that one area you have kind of dabbled in?
Yeah, I haven't actually to date, but I suspect I probably will do. So the sort of music I like to write is very cinematic. It's quite dramatic, and as I say, these particular albums, you could be forgiven for thinking that certainly. And I think the next two that are going to be coming out are very much
Mm.
along those lines. Sure.
And when I'm speaking to you now, you're in a nice studio. You see all the backdrops there with the pianos and your sound
Yeah,
shields there.
yeah. This is my working day really.
Mm,
So it's a studio near where I live, and I probably took it on about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago now,
mm,
kitted it out the way I wanted it.
mm,
So I've basically got everything I can do in here. It's a full recording studio. I've got my pianos, synths, lots of guitars, all the sound equipment,
mm.
these decent microphones. So yeah, this is where the work gets
Mm.
done, really.
Do you have a favourite piano?
I do actually. I've got a Kaiwai Grand in the house, but I bought a Yamaha piano last year. And whenever I was recording in different studios, I nearly always ended up with a Yamaha Grand, and I've
Mm,
kind of got used to their. It's a nice bright sound, which I've kind of got used to. So, excuse me, I bit the bullet last summer and actually bought a Grand in the Yamaha showroom in Wardle Street, because I've been there. I did a little live concert there, and I've been playing on all their pianos, and I thought actually I can't resist it
mm.
anymore.
Uh,
My favourite one is probably the
yeah,
Yamaha. Yeah.
yeah, nice. Another question I wanted to ask is, people have to keep on tuning guitars. How often do you have to tune pianos?
I do it probably about every couple of months.
Mm,
Um, I think it depends on how you're using them. I mean, whenever I go to a recording studio for a live recording, I mean, they tend to have a piano tuner in just before you start.
Mm,
So I mean, they tune them literally virtually every
mm,
day.
mm.
Um,
Is it true
yeah,
that when you move a piano as well, it can be off key as well sometimes?
yeah, it does definitely.
Mm,
I mean, if you move it, or if it's too cold or it's too warm. I remember we had a house, and I had a lovely grand piano in the bay window. Big
mm,
mistake. Big mistake. It's out of tune in a week.
mm, mm.
So yeah, I don't do that anymore. It's well out of the sunlight now.
Do you ever perform like say like in venues or shows, or are you more kind of like a behind the scenes type of guy?
Yeah, no, I love performing, and funny you should say that. I was just talking to my manager this morning. We're actually working on a little tour later in the year,
Mm,
maybe early next. So yeah, definitely on the
mm.
cards. I
Would
really enjoy it.
would you do like a tour like conservatoires, around the country?
Yeah, I mean, I like the music. As you probably know, you've heard it, and certainly the piano stuff. It's very evocative. It's
Mm,
quite emotive. So we're working really on the, if you like, looking at the stage set and how that's going to work with
mm,
the right lighting and to conjure up the right atmosphere to go with the music. Because a lot of people hear music. I mean, this is going to sound daft, but it's true. They hear music visually, and the visual element is why you have screens at concerts and
mm,
things, not just
mm.
see people, but they kind of conjure up a feeling as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're just working on that. So, venues could be anything from, small and intimate is lovely because then you feel that you're in the middle of the
Mm.
audience, and that's a really nice feeling.
Not many people know when you go to these shows the amount of preparation that goes into it and money that the artist actually has to, make the shows happen. It does take a lot of groundwork.
It's huge.
Mm,
It's
mm,
absolutely
mm,
huge. Tons of work.
mm,
Tons of work.
mm,
I think obviously the bigger the act, then you get a whole, if you like, a whole entourage around it. I
mm,
mean, I've got friends in that industry, and but you're still involved. There's still questions to answer. There's still, the artist has to put their stamp on it, and they can be very heavily involved
mm.
in it. But yeah, huge amount of work.
Um,
Huge amount of
do,
work.
you, do you ever work with other artists as well, like
Yeah,
songwriting?
I've done. Yeah, I've done a little bit with a few. I did one recently with a band who I think quite big in the '80s called O-Turn, and they asked me to do a piano part for that, which I did.
Mm,
And it was lovely because I sort of played it in my style. So it's very kind of, I like things that are simple and stripped back and sound really, every note kind of
mm,
counts. So I did that, which I really enjoyed actually. I know they enjoyed it too, so that was fun.
mm,
Um, and I worked quite a lot with a guy called Steve Sidwell, Grammy Award-winning arranger,
mm.
superb arranger. So we've done, I think, two albums. We're working on a third together at the moment.
Lovely. And where can people find you? Like follow your work. What's the best kind of platform you prefer them to follow you on?
Sure. Well, obviously all the socials, so Facebook and Instagram. Just look at, Duncan Moss Musician. You'll find me on that. I've got a website which is duncanmossmusic.com, and you can get to everywhere from that. So that's got the all the information about me and what I do. And then all the streaming platforms, so Spotify, um, Amazon, Apple, all the usual streaming platforms you can get it and download it from.
Cool. So I'm going to about, if I can, I'm going to play your track now on my show. This is actually going to go out on the Laid Back Late Night Show, which is a late night show for like unplugged music, acoustic, and just nice music. To
Right,
to
lovely.
to make the listener let their worries go away. So this song will do the trick. Would you like to introduce it
That's
on?
good.
So this is a laid back show with Danny.
Absolutely. Well, on a late night show, laid back show, this is absolutely lovely. And the track is called When We Were Children
And
by
that's
Duncan Moss.
Duncan Moss. Yeah, thanks for joining me today.
Great pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks very much for having me, Dan.
you are.